I enjoy doing these. But I had a podcast with him, and my podcast is always trying to get information that people want, like inspirational stuff, information that people want about fighters, like who they are, where they came from, like who they really are, not just about how hard they're training and what they're doing to prepare for a fight. That's for everybody else. So I dug kind of deep in with Perry when we had the podcast, and I had to mention Darren Till only because Darren and Michael Bisping was still talking trash about him and trying to get under his skin. And I didn't know Mike Perry. So like, I thought maybe he would just, cause he said so many outlandish things and crazy stuff. I figured he would just say something funny, like screw that guy, blah, blah, blah. And just, we'd move on. But when I mentioned Darren Till, he got like super sensitive and angry. And he had that big soundbite on my podcast that went viral that everybody used and put on their website and it went crazy.
So I got it from your bite. Okay.
Yeah. And the thing was like, so I even understood at the moment. I was like, oh shit, I don't want to like get this guy shook up a week before his fight about talking about another fight. I just thought it was going to be a quick soundbite. And we were joking afterwards and I apologized. I was like, man, I'm sorry again about that Darren Till comment. I had no idea that, it was that sensitive for you, and then he was cool and we got along fine and the podcast ended great. He promoted it and it went out and we covered everything. We covered the fact that Latori's going to be in his corner. We covered the fact that he wasn't using many of coaches and he was training at multiple gyms. We covered the Darren Till thing, which went viral, of which I never promoted. So even on the highlight video I made with Mike Perry, all the clips I made and put on Instagram, I never used that clip because I knew that bothered him, and obviously that's going to help build up his next fight if he fights Till. But the crazy thing was Ariel, and I love Ariel, don't get me wrong, but Ariel then does the podcast with Mike Perry like 5 days later, and he asked him like the same questions that I did. And he had to have seen, I mean, he wouldn't be a good reporter if he didn't see that clip of Mike Perry going off on Darren Till because it was everywhere. It was on every single site. I mean, he went crazy when I mentioned Darren Till. And not only did he confirm about the corner and all the other stuff that I already did 4 days prior, and he's like, it's official. He's going to have no corner except his girlfriend and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, it was official 4 days ago when I did the podcast. But anyway, the point was, it was just funny. But then he went in there and asked him the same thing. And like that I thought was a little weak because like, here it is like the day before the weigh-ins and he already knew that he got really pissed off about it and he was bothered by it and it had that huge reaction. But he had to ask him. And then he didn't even ask him right. He said something like, I know y'all were friends and now he's talking a bunch of trash and all this and all this stuff is getting hyped up now. What do you think about it? And of course, Mike Perry was like, we were never friends. I don't know what you're talking about. And then Mike Perry just hung up on him, like shut the interview off. And then Ariel put like I think a picture of him smoking a joint behind him or something. It was weird, man, but it was just like, I thought that was bad taste because I felt bad a week before the fight bringing it up and I didn't even know it was going to make him mad. But the fact that he brought it up knowing it was going to make him mad like the day before his weigh-in when that wasn't even the guy he was fighting, I don't know. I thought that was a little weak, but yeah, I just had to say that piece.
Well, let me tell you about Ariel. He's a master at bringing up the fire dirt. What I call fire dirt, things that get you all riled up and pissed off and either love him or hate him. But he's going to get that fire dirt.
Yeah, he did.
I did an interview. The first time I experienced with him, I did an interview with him about Herschel Walker. And it was in Florida, and we were talking about the fights and how he's talking about Herschel.
Yeah.
Then he hit me with that barn burner of a question that I didn't know where it was coming from. He goes, "Hey, so by the way, what do you think about teammates fighting each other?" And I'm like,
I remember this. It was headlines.
I said, if one's a champion, the other one's a number one mandatory contender, I guess the fans would want to see it. I guess they can fight. And he goes, really? He goes, yeah. So, man, little did I know. And next thing you know, I got ripped big time on a phone conversation by one of the so-called fighters involved in that.
Yeah.
So pissed off at me. And I'm like, I didn't take it back. I said, no, I don't take back what I said. I said it and I meant it. If one of you guys is a champion, and I said none of you guys are a champion at the present time, so hey, nothing to worry about it. And I said, number one, you have to be a number one contender. I go, if you two guys fought right now, willingly fought, I'd kick you both out of the gym, or if you both agreed, or if the one that didn't agree and the other one did agree, I'd kick him out because it's not going to happen. We'll destroy the gym, and it went like that. But Ariel caught me on that one, and he caught me again, and then he catches me again with stuff, and finally I realized, I go, that son of a bitch. I go, and I said,
I mean, he does his job, and unfortunately his job is like a.
I go, I'm on. Yeah, I called Ariel. I said, Ariel, I'm on to you. He goes, what are you talking about? It's all good, buddy. I'm out of you. I got you. And you know what, Swick? He hasn't got me once since.
Yeah.
I'm on to his ass. I'm ready for any
Well, he
kind of
needs
Ariel
you.
Helwani interview. I'm ready for his ass.
He needs you. He's going to push
Ready
as
for
far
him.
as he can, but he's not going to push too far because he needs you. He doesn't want to burn that bridge. He knows he's going to want to talk to you again before.
No. He'll trust me. He'll do it because he's a great reporter. But I'm on to his ass. He ain't catching me.
Yeah.
He got me in hot water a lot of times. He ain't getting me no more. Not getting me. I mean, I love the guy, but I gotta watch it when I do interviews with him because it's coming, man. And he's tried stuff like not interviews, but he's tried talking off the record on things. And I knew he's trying to get me at me from left field, and I'm like acting like I don't know. And I play his game. He hasn't got me since, not once, and it's been a few years, and he ain't getting me. You hear that?
Yeah, and I mean he's a good guy, and
not getting me.
And the thing is, but he does definitely do that. And I thought that was in bad taste before the fight. But that being said, I mean, he didn't. The reason I didn't like the fact that he did that was because I already kind of had that soundbite done. I'm not trying to take credit for it, but at least it was out there. So it's like it's already done. So like you're not going to get anything better than what was already out there. So just don't mess with him before his fight. But in the end, it's going to help. You know, at least my soundbite was because it's going to build his fight with Darren Till.
Yeah.
So fighters have to get used to dealing with that kind of stuff because it is a pain in the ass if you're focused and you're trying to do something and someone hits you, you know, like he does. But in the end, it does build your it power to people and make you interesting and create interest in fights. So there's always that too, you know.
You want that to happen to you all the time, to be honest with you. You want everybody stealing your stuff. You really, really do. You do. Trust me, you do. You and Ariel's stealing that. Good. I hope somebody else takes this. Good. Okay. Somebody else takes that. Good. You want that because that means people are paying attention to what you're saying, and everything you do is great. You never badmouth anybody. You have a clean cut image of this. Ariel's not clean cut by any means. He's sneaky. He comes around and he goes at the nitty gritty of the big fire. You know what's going to create the fire? What's going to create the buzz? He goes right to the jugular on that. He's the best at it. He's the best at it, but he's not the best at it just by being natural at it. He's definitely natural, but he works for it. He gets those infos and he gets his calls and he sets you up, man. He's a master at that. That's why he's always winning the Journalist of the Year award every time. I don't ever see that guy getting beat compared to everybody else I've been involved with. He's still the best.
Yeah.